specific to Councilor Kelly's questions. So the plume.
Perhaps I'll stop you for a minute.
Sure.
Maybe I'll let her highlight the bullet points in her letter, and
Sure.
then you can
Absolutely.
answer, so other people will understand what we're talking about here.
Thank you, Mr. President. So to preface this, I just had some questions, and I guess you could call them additional asks. I want to thank you for all the hard work that you did in negotiating this. I think the $43 million over the 20 years is great. However, I do want everyone to keep in mind just the size and scope of this project is one of the larger ones in the state. So what I'm asking is really very measured in terms of the size that we're talking here and the scope of this proposal. We spoke briefly. The first issue I had is that there seemed to be an offset clause regarding the $600,000 payment that would be required to be paid to the Revere Fire Department in the first year for equipment and some other things, meaning that if the company was required to do additional safety measures and those safety measures required in monetary expenses, those monetary expenses would then be deducted from that $600,000 payment. So I believe that you said you would strike that language and ensure that the whole $600,000 payment would in fact go to the fire department, which I love to hear. The next item was just CPI on the $25,000. If we're going to do an annual obligation of $25,000 for training and risk reduction, I wouldn't want in 10 or 15 years because of inflation that $25,000 to not be enough. So if we could just add CPI to that $25,000, I think it would be great. The decommissioning, I just would like, if it's not spoken to in these agreements, I would just like an assurance, and I think you gave that to me earlier when we spoke, that if the site is decommissioned for any reason, even at the end of the contractual term at 20 years, the decommissioning expenses would not fall on the city, and the company would bear the expense and of the obligations of decommissioning the site, so we wouldn't be stuck with that as taxpayers. Now, moving on to some of the additional asks that I requested, I would like some just assurance that a specific plume dispersion test would be done, which basically just gives residents, the fire department, more information in terms of if there were an incident at the site, how much of toxicity would be released, which direction they would most be likely to go, and all of that stuff. If that's going to be taken care of during site plan review, that's great, and I think it is, so no issue there. I would like to try to get some funds earmarked, some additional earmarked funds. The amounts that I'm asking for, I don't feel are unreasonable, again, compared to the size and scope of the project. I'm looking specifically for an annual contribution of $60,000 per year for 15 years to be earmarked towards senior water, sewer, and utility assistance dedicated to assisting low and moderate income seniors with the rising cost of water and sewer and utility costs. I'd also like to see a $100,000 payment earmarked to the senior center themselves so that they could use that for any facility improvements, maintenance needs, or any initiatives that would be benefiting our seniors. And I would like, considering the fact, lastly, I'm wrapping up, considering the fact that generally developers would be making a payment into a CIT fund if they were required to get special permits and variances, considering that this project is not subject to that because they're going to the state siting board. I still would like to see some earmarking in terms of a CIT, so to speak, fund for the residents of Ward 6, given that the residents of Ward 6 are going to bear the brunt of the construction vehicles, the noise, all of that. I did check with the assessor's office, and it looks like we've got 70 residential properties located within 600 feet and 90 located within 750 feet. So that CIT payment of $500,000 to the ward specifically, I would love to see. I would love at least if it could be entertained. And there was a question of the 300 feet. I know we were told by the fire department that there are no residential buildings located within 300 feet of the project. I got a list from the assessor's office giving me a list of properties within the 300 feet, but I think that might be an issue of where we're measuring, if we're measuring from the exact battery container, or if we're measuring from the middle of the site, or from the, you know, the parameter of the site, the exterior parameter, I'm not sure. So I would like that just clarified. And I think above all else, I really would like a presentation from FlatIron first before we approve these agreements. Just because typically, that's generally how from my research anyway, how other communities usually do it. They come in, they give us our pitch, and then we kind of go through the agreements and see where we are. This, to me, is kind of backwards, so I would like that opportunity for them to come in before signing off on this. And I do want to say that thank you very much for negotiating the 100% of union labor. That's great. And that's it. Thank you. Sorry it took so long.
Thank you, Counselor.
Do you want me to answer some of those? as
Well,
chair?
you can answer them. I know what your
Okay.
answer to the last one is, and that's...
I'll answer them all at once.
Okay, go ahead. Go right ahead. What's that?
Okay, Councilor Kelly, through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, Mr. President. Councilor Kelly, I think with the first four, we were very much in alignment with striking some of the language, but also, as mentioned, the plume was handled with the fire department, and that's going to be part of the process. And the decommissioning will be part of the site permitting as well, with the separate fund, completely separate fund designated to decommission the site when it becomes end of life. As I had mentioned, I felt like we pushed the envelope more than any other community. As a matter of fact, we did compare ourselves to every community that has already signed a mitigation package, and we were in the top few, and I say few only because the first one was the earliest adopter. They got the biggest benefit, but the most recent agreements, it's all generated. This is it's a math equation based on the megawatt and what is dispersed per megawatt to the community. We got the highest per megawatt in the agreement over the last couple of years that's been granted. The HCA does very much serve like that CIT, where we are going to be designated some of those specific funds, and it's 600,000, 600,000, 600,000, and then it goes up to 646,000 the last 5 years, and all in between. We are going to slice that up so that some of the more impacted community, or at least the radius, is being served, and we feel confident that we'll be able to add to some of those resiliency programs for our residents, and especially the vulnerable residents or residents that have need. And we will look at a thoughtful process to make sure that it gets served equitably. We will have that pot of funds reserved specifically for a program like that, which I'd be happy to work with the council on adopting. Again, this is probably 2 years out before any of this comes to fruition. And then they do this. In addition, you have to remind yourself at $70,000 a year in taxes, the $1.6 million, $1.5 million in payment in lieu of taxes, and all the way up to 1.615. Think about the difference between 75,000 and 1.6 million. Never mind, it's a $200 million facility, the permit fees that will come along with that. So there are going to be a lot of resources to share in community benefit. They will, in addition, be starting a grant type program that will distribute quarterly, separate from the HCA and the pilot, to serve our nonprofit community. They will continue to fund that program, and they will be looking at guidance from our local leaders to see that the needs of the community are met through those grant type programs that will serve our nonprofit organizations, our little leagues, our urban walking trails, and people, the sand castles, the partnerships, all of that. And then lastly, as far as meeting the council, they have specifically reached out to every councilor, I'm pretty sure many of times. They do want to present in front of the council. Whether one comes before the other, it's more about making sure that the communication and the information is accurate. As you know, there's a lot of inaccurate information regarding this types of technology. I have solar panels on my home. I just got an email from Sunrun and said, we're going to give you a $1,000 credit if you want to add a battery pack to your house. I was like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. And we all know, and like Captain O'Hara said, every everyone in the city is going to have a battery pack attached to the home, or a lot of communities are going to have that. This is going to help resiliency in the city of Revere. And again, Everett's got the biggest one going. It's 800 megawatts, you name it. But I hope that answers most of your questions. Thank you.
But I will give Councilor Kelly one more minute.
I appreciate that, thank you. I just want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for taking my concerns into such great consideration, so thank you for that. My only issue, I want to be able to support this. I think the only reason why I won't be able to tonight is because I really would like FlatIron to come in and give the presentation before we have to vote on these agreements, to give the public an opportunity to view what's going to be going on, to answer so many of their questions and concerns. So if I don't vote favorably on this tonight, it's for no other reason than I would just want to do the typical process of having them come in first and then reviewing the agreements. But thank you very much for all your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. I may regret I gave you that last minute. Let me say a couple things. I'm grateful for the job you did negotiating this. I think it's when people step back and look at this is a Dover amendment. This is by right. They could have this without any of this mitigation. We're nitpicking here right now. And one of the things you said that really struck me is this could be no pilot, no nothing tomorrow. And this state does that. This could be by right tomorrow, and all this leverage goes away, and all the good stuff we're going to get from this goes away. So to be cute about this, we got to strike while the flat iron is hot. So our economic development guy is a stand-up comic. I had to take a little bit, you know. So there might be a job for me after I leave here, you know. But all kidding aside, this is something we're going to vote on tonight because I think it's important we vote on it tonight. There can always be a public presentation for, as the mayor said, the actuality of this is a couple of years away before this comes out of the ground. So now's the time to get this agreement while they're willing to give it up before the governor or whoever makes this by right tomorrow. So I'm gonna suggest we vote on this tonight. So I'll call for a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Council President, there's two different agreements. One is the host community agreement and the other is the pilot agreement.
Agree.
So maybe two separate
So
votes. Okay.
you call them and we'll vote on them. Please.
Shall the City Council approve the host community agreement between the City of Revere and Revolution Storage, LLC? Councilor Agenzio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Cogliandro.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Janino.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guarino Sawaya.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Kelly.
Present.
Voting present. Councilor McKenna.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Mercurio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Silvestri.
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Zambudo.
Yes.
Yes, the host community agreement with Revolution Storage LLC has been approved.
Mr. President,
Councilor Novoselsky.
we have a point for reconsideration, please. Want to reconsider that?
On reconsideration, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered.
Hope does not prevail.
Right. Next item. There's another roll call coming up here.
Shall the City Council approve an agreement for payment in lieu of taxes between the City of Revere and Revolution Storage LLC? Councilor Agenzio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Cogliandro.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Janino.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guarino Sawaya.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Kelly.
Present.
Voting present. Councilor McKenna.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Mercurio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Silvestri.
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Zambudo.
Yes.
Yes, the pilot agreement has been approved.
Mr. President, reconsideration again, please.
Suspension of rules. Suspension of rules.
Yes.
Reconsideration. All in favor, all opposed? Regular order of business.
Thank you.